Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Grad School Buddy, a show that gives simple answers to questions about grad school. I'm your host, Ebele Chukwumoyi, a development economist and impact storyteller who has a master's from Georgetown University and a bachelor's from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. We hope the show helps you make better grad school decisions. Let's dive right in. Today, we are joined by Chinez. As always, I'll start by saying why our guest is important to this show and why we felt it was interesting to bring them. Chinez is somebody I met because he's a media guru, and I found out that he was also running a graduate school program while working full-time and organizing an award show. And I thought it was crazy that somebody could do all three things. I thought it was also really interesting that he chose to do his master's degree program in Nigeria. And I wanted to get his perspective about what it felt like to do a master's in Nigeria and what ideas led to that final decision. So, as always, we'll begin by reading Chinez's bio and we'll turn it over to him to introduce himself to us. Chinez is a young budding entrepreneur who started his brand in 2015. The brand currently has different subsidiaries that handle every aspect of event media, from photography, videography, event website design, and virtual event templates. In 2018, he launched the first ever award that recognized exceptional events and event personalities in Africa, known as Pop Culture Africa Awards, which has awarded over 15 personalities, including Burna Boy, Tauma, DJ Copy, and many more. Because of his strides on the African scene, he was granted as an official media partner of the African Fashion Week London in 2018 and 2019, of which he has participated until date as the only Nigerian media team. He was awarded as the best SME media on the Connect Nigeria Top 100 SMEs and nominated for the 25 Under 25 Awards in 2020 and 2021. He was also nominated for the Future Africa Awards 2019 as Best Startup Media Organization. His company was also listed for the Forbes Africa Summit as part of the Emerging Brands from Africa. Chinedu is very smart and industrious and has carved a niche for himself. Pop TV Event Africa as a brand has partnered with several organizations to bring events, personalities, and African content to the African people. And one of the good things about this brand is its ability to give back with its partnership with various NGOs that tackle basic socioeconomic problems. That was quite an interesting bio, Chinez. And now, do you mind telling our listeners about you, something that's different from the bio that we have just read?
All right. Yeah. Thanks for giving me this platform. Yeah. So my name is Chinedu, as already indicated. I love video games and I love traveling. If I could add it to my bio that, traveling was like one of the most important things to me because every month I look out to somewhere I want to go to or I want to hang out with friends with that is not in my location. Yeah. And I'm a multitasking person. I'm a Catholic. I'm the first child of 4 kids. Yeah. My educational background and all that. Yeah, that should be about it.
I like the way you're using this medium to list all your qualities, including I'm a Catholic. You're using my podcast to shoot shot. Okay, but something that you said that I wanted to ask you more about was, I know you said that I know your educational background, but do you mind sharing with the people who don't know, so that they will understand as we continue to talk where you're coming from?
Okay, so yeah, I did my primary education in Lagos, Nazareth School, and then from there I moved to Hope Bay College, and then I got some form of let me not call it scholarship per se, but it was more like an educational upliftment from Hope Bay College to King's College because I was very good in lawn tennis back then. So I was given admission into King's College for SS1 to SS3. So I'm AKCOB, as we call it. Then after my secondary education, I got admission into the University of Nigeria to study mass communications. Yeah, so After that, we're now running our masters at the Ahmadu Bello University. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Chinez. Like I already mentioned at the beginning, I feel that you're a very interesting personality, especially because of the work you have done in the media field and how it relates to the program that you're doing and how you've pieced all of this together in your day to day, basically. So I will go directly to the questions that we've prepared. And the first one might seem very obvious, but I'm very curious about how you decided on Ahmadu Bello and why you decided. Like, how did you find it? How did you find the course you're doing there? And if you don't mind, could you share with us what the name of the program is?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. First of all, after my university days, I always wanted to, travel out, study abroad, do an international, course and all that stuff. So I tried. I actually tried to apply for a couple of them. I tried to apply for some schools in the UK, some schools in the US, you know, tried and tried and tried. But then to get to a certain stage, it's either the finances that will like hold me down, or probably the processes were kind of like cumbersome, and then I could not meet up to expectations and all. So I just kept on trying. So I think late last year, I was just reasoning like, wait, if I should wait for whenever I get my opportunity to go abroad, I don't know when that will be. Like I graduated like 4 years ago, and I should be doing something, because I was just like, it was like as if my education was like on a stop, just because I was looking for something. And then it just felt like I was just wasting my time, you understand? And then I spoke to my dad about it. Surprisingly, my dad was like, that I should maybe just calm down on the international schooling and all that, probably look for a school around, you know, not really like a university, maybe an institute or something, just get a certification or all that stuff. Something that will be convenient with your work and all that. I said, okay, I'll try and search. So in the process of searching for an institute where I could just get a certificate, then I stumbled upon the Ahmadu Bello Distant Learning Center website. Now, I didn't know that a university in Nigeria was offering a full-time online course. Nigerian universities, most times when they say they're offering online courses, it's not usually, full curriculum. Maybe they just maybe add some courses, then you do CBT exams.
Yeah.
But you still have to fall back to go into the physical environment and all that. But this time, ABU provided an opportunity where you have everything done online at the comfort of your own home. But I think it's important for the registration to be done physically, so that you can get your course materials as you're registering. That's very important. Now, it doesn't mean if you do it online, you will not get your course materials. If you do go physically, you get your course materials physically. If you go online, you get it downloaded online. You get. So, but I was still going through the process of, how I did the whole application and all that. So yeah, I stumbled upon the website. I checked it out. There's a call line there, and then I had to call the number. And immediately they responded. I made all the inquiries I wanted to, ask them the courses that they were offering. They sent me the list of courses, which is also on their website though. So I checked it, and then it caught my attention. International affairs and diplomacy. I was very happy with it because I've always wanted to be a diplomat. In fact, that was the major reason why I wanted to go abroad. I wasn't going abroad because I wanted to just japa like every other person wanted to do. I wanted to go abroad so that I'll have opportunities to work with multinational organizations, diplomatic corps, the diplomatic community. I just wanted to be involved in it because I always loved anything foreign policy, you know, anything, just anything international. So yeah, when I saw the course, I just knew that, okay, this is an opportunity I cannot let go of. And so that was how I started the application process. And funny enough, it was quite simple and easy because it's my country. So I'm not going to be processing visa and all those documentations. It was quite simple and easy. And for where we are now, So the course, like I said, is a master's in international affairs and diplomacy, which is a very interesting course. And I've been loving it since I started. So it's good.
But first of all, I think it's really exciting. One thing I just learned from you today is that Ahmadu Bello University provides online full-time courses. And I think a lot of people will also be surprised to hear this. And two other words that came out from your mouth that really shocked me were that it was very simple and easy to go through the registration process, because I know how it felt, going through registration when I was in undergrad. So to hear that you can simply register, that's really exciting, especially. And then another thing that I really love is how excitedly you talk about the Masters in International Affairs course that you're currently running. I think the way you sound makes it seem like it's been worth your while, and I'm excited about that for you.
Like the value I get from it is very, very, very vast.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you about those values and as well as the cost of getting those values very soon.
Okay.
My second question to you is, I know that you say that you talked to your dad about this. And I also love that you were very objective and realistic when you said, okay, listen, when you talked about how you thought about it last year and you realized that, also doing a program in Nigeria might be a viable option. And so when you took that decision and you had talked to your dad, did you think there were other schools that you could also apply to in Nigeria? Or was it a thing where you went online and you found the program at ABU and you set your mind on that one specifically?
Well, I think the edge that ABU had over other schools was that it provided that online space, that platform where you can do all your courses, everything from your home. Now, there's another university that offers those services too, which is the National Open University. But then ABU, as a renowned school per se, is a very outstanding school when it comes to the metrics of universities in Nigeria. So when you compare the metrics of ABU and that of the National Open University, they are two different, the disparity is so high, like ABU's gap is so high. And then aside that too, the National Open University, the way they conduct their courses are not as fluid and as easy as the ABU conduct their own courses. You get ABU gives you that schooling experience, like as if you're actually in the physical environment. There's an LMS where you do all your classes, your assignments. There's forum discussion, group discussion, and all that stuff. And I'm even hoping for better things because it's like every month they bring a new innovation to the LMS. That's the online education platform. So yeah, there were other schools to choose from, but the edge was the convenience, because I knew that the school fees is not something small, so I need to actually pay for these school fees. And if I want to pay for these school fees, I would have to work. So if I'm going for a school that will disrupt my working space, then it becomes a problem. I needed to get something that I can balance both the school and then as well work, so that I can work to pay for the school fees and then get the value from the school to get promotion at work. So that's just how the thing goes. So yeah, there are other schools, but then I chose ABU and I set my sight on it. And it was a very good course. That's it. Then about you asked about the cost of the value, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
was wondering what the financial implications were for you to be able to attend ABU.
Okay. Am I meant to be specific in terms of figures and all?
So it depends on you. That thank God, thank you for mentioning that. We want you to be, just give us what you're comfortable with. You
Okay.
can give us
Because
estimates
yeah.
as well.
Okay. So yeah, because of the essence of this podcast, because the idea is to shed light on these things that
Yeah.
they would not ordinarily tell you, just normal gisting and all that.
Mhm.
So the thing is, the different courses that you tend to get at the DLC, that's the Distant Learning Center, the ABU DLC, they have different, tuition fees attached to them. Like the MBAs are different from the medical, that's the MED nursing. It's also different from the Masters in Public Administrations and all that stuff. Because I know, like for the MBA, for example, we're looking at a range of like say 800,000 to like 1 million to cover everything, like everything from your exam fees to your courseware to all that stuff. But for
Yeah.
mine, which I'm very, very much familiar about, for mine, like for example, the application fee was like 10,500 naira. That was the application fee. And then it's not like maybe you're looking for an admission and then if you pay the application fee after some time, they might tell you, you didn't get the admission and all that. It's like it's almost as sure as certain. As far as you have all your documents ready, documents such as your NYSC sets, your school results, and all those other basic documentations and all. Once they are all set, then you pay the 10,500 naira application fee. Then after that, then once you are given the admission, then you pay for courses. Now, these courses, one good thing about ABU again is that the courses, like for first semester, you're doing 5 courses. Now, those 5 courses, each course is at 20,000 naira. So you can decide that, okay, for now, what I have is 80,000. So I'll pay for 4 courses. Then subsequently, I'll pay for the 5th course and do it at your own convenience. Do you understand? The 5 courses, 20,000 naira per course. Then you have the exam fee. Then you have the courseware and all that thing. You have other fees altogether. But altogether, for the first semester, you should be paying around 150 to 200,000 for the first semester. Then for the second semester, you'll be paying around 130 to 170 within that range, depending on what you're doing and the frequency at which you're paying. Yeah, so if you add it up together, it's around 350,000 around that range. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for scooping this tea for us because I was going to ask you what the financial implications were. So it's really nice that you shared that with us. Like to kind of summarize, you said application fee cost about 10.5. You need your
Yeah.
NYSC certificates, your school certificates, and some other documents. I was going to ask you, aside your NYSC certificate and the school certificate, were there any other documents you remember submitting?
You get your WIEC certificate, then you also get just basic identity certificate like your birth certificates, your primary school, your WIEC, then that's your BSc now or BA, whatever you did. That's your undergrad result. Then you also get your NYSC, and yeah, that's basically it. That's what you need.
Okay. And then something else that caught my attention when you were talking was you talked about the fact that you might also have to pay for courseware. Do you mind explaining to us that don't know what that means?
Okay, courseware are like the course materials, the books you use, during the duration of the semester. So each course has its own books and its materials. Like there's a particular course, the inquiries into political relations and all that. Now that one, apart from the textbook, you also deal with the Nigerian constitution. You get, and then there's another course again, introduction to foreign policy or foreign policy analysis. Any of these 2 courses, you will need the foreign policy of Nigeria in hard copy also. So apart from the textbooks, other materials that are relevant to that course is all part of the courseware that you pay for.
Okay, thank you for providing that very detailed answer and explaining to us the different things that consist what courseware might be. Another thing that I felt would be interesting to know was you talked about how you really like the group forums and the group discussions that you've had during this program. And I wondered if you could tell us more about, for instance, like your class composition. Is it a big class? Is it a small class? How do these forums work? And how have you been able to interact with your classmates, especially since you're not in the same physical place as they are?
Okay, so for different courses, the class there's no specific number of students for each class per se. every course has its number of students, either those that are writing the course from another, program, or those that are deferred before. Like, it's just a mix. And then the students that comprise of these classes are from different countries of the world, actually, because it's majorly Nigerians, obviously, but then we have other students from different parts of Africa and then other developing countries too. We have Indians, we have those from Malaysia, then we have Ethiopians, Mali, Kenya, Cameroon, Ghana, all that stuff. They're all there. Then South Sudan, yeah. And then the lecturers also teach from different parts of the world also. It's not because it's a Nigerian school, then they are so limited to just Nigerian lecturers. We have a lecturer from the United States that also teaches in the University of Greenwich College in the UK, and the University of Kent in the UK also. Then we also have a lecturer from Ethiopia, so all these people come together to impact that knowledge, that value that we need. Yes, so about the groupings and forums and all that, how we keep in touch. We know we can't see ourselves physically. So we have a WhatsApp group where information is being shared. And we also have a Telegram group for things like videos, audio, large files that you can't really share on WhatsApp. So we share them on the Telegram group. Then you just go download, watch as you want. Then those ones that are on YouTube, you can just click on the link and go. So Telegram is more like for the multimedia aspect, while the WhatsApp is more of the announcements and other discussions that pertain to how the class is run. Then we have a class rep, obviously, a class rep, which she's really doing a very good job, because I don't I don't see how easy it is being a class rep to students that you can't see, so you have to coordinate everybody. And then we're from different parts of Nigeria also, especially on the fact that we're Nigerians. We have people in Lagos, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Katsina, Borno, different parts, and then we try to coordinate these things together. Then on the LMS, that's the software that we use, which is very interactive. We are all grouped automatically. We are grouped into forums and then group discussions and all that stuff. So we're grouped into those things. So like as like every course has different groups. So you might have two groups each for each course, or one group. So it depends on the course and the course tutor. That's the lecturer in charge of the course. So they will just group us into different groups. We have discussions. Any topic that is being dropped, the lecturer can decide that, okay, today we're not going to be having any lectures. We're just going to be discussing on the group forum. So we'll go to the group forum on the software. We discuss, we drop our points there. As you're dropping your points, somebody's reading it and understanding, asking questions and all that. You can ask somebody a question. Like if I drop an information and then 10 people read it and 2 people don't understand, they can ask me personally and I reply to them on that same software. And then it doesn't interrupt the flow of every other discussion happening on the forum. So it's just very interactive, and we try to keep in touch. But very important, we have our exams physically. So definitely we're going to meet someday. Yeah, it's during our exams. So we have our exams physically. Now, the education platform also provides for exam centers all across Nigeria and then outside Nigeria too. We have exam centers in London, Dubai, in the US, what's the other country again? Germany and France and some other countries. And then we also, in Nigeria, we have all across Nigeria, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Enugu, Abuja, and the rest of them. So for someone like me, I'm in Abuja. So I'll be writing in Abuja when the exams come. So yeah, that's more like it.
So if I didn't know you, I would think you were doing advertisement for ABU. Because you're like, we're in Abuja, we're in Lagos. But it's really exciting to hear about how multicultural your class is, or even with regards to the composition of the students and the professors as well. And I think that would be really helpful, as you navigate your international affairs career. I think this is kind of like a
Yes.
good foundation. Yeah, and I also love the sense of community that you guys have built and how versatile you've been with your communication software, from like WhatsApp to Telegram. I think those are really helpful in kind of developing human relationships where physical contact is difficult. Okay, so now I want to ask you about how you feel, because I know that you went to UNN and it's
Yeah.
an entirely different feeling. Like, even in terms of just who you are as a person now versus who you were then. Like, what is it like schooling in Nigeria? And what do you think, or what would you say changed from your undergrad and now?
Hmm. Well, a lot changed. Back then in undergraduate studies, there's some things that you might let go of and just I beg, let me not just do this one. I'll do the other one. Anyhow, we'll pass.
Yeah.
It's a different thing when you're in grad school because everything is now like all seriousness, and everything you write, all assignments are checked, and they are not like checked like maybe you copy somebody. That aside from that, they are checked for facts, they are checked for um level of importance and all those things. So you have to be like very, very strategic and very, very concise when you're putting down anything. So the seriousness level is just very high. And the Nigerian environment now, so everything is naturally hard. You understand? Trying to get the best marks, because some lecturers will tell you, if you don't do this way I want it, there is no how. But grad school, normally everybody comes with their own ideology of how they see things. So it's not just about what the lecturer says in class. Like a lecturer can be saying something, and then you as a student, you have a different idea towards it or a different opinion. You can actually voice out, and then the lecturer can even consider it. And if it's something, fact driven, then they can add it into the course and then teach other people too. So that is just how serious, and that's just how important your words and what you say and how you write and everything, how important it is. So it's a different ball game entirely. You have to get so serious. It's just a different ball game, and it's actually very stressful. It's very stressful, trust me, because they will bombard you with assignments, group discussions, forum discussions, and group works, a lot of things. There's just a whole lot of things to keep you on your toes, so you don't feel like, okay, because you are doing online, so you can just anyhow. And then the software also checks for attendance and stuff. So if you miss classes for a specific number of times, you are losing a lot of marks already. So yeah, it's the grad school is just it's a different experience entirely, but it's fun. I'm doing my course like a course I love, so it's actually fun for me.
I can imagine. So now you saying that it's fun but stressful makes me have new set of questions for you as always. And so my new question for you is like, what would you say has been the hardest part of this journey? And the other side of the coin is, what do you enjoy most?
Well, I think the hardest part of this journey is, first of all, the finances, because at this point, it's not like you're largely dependent on your parents to pay your fees per se. For some of us that right from start, we have always been forming this independent thing. So it's very hard for someone like me to call on my parents and be like, okay, send me money, or I've not paid for my course and stuff like that. So the finances, gathering the funds and making sure you pay for certain things, documents and all those documentations and all those assignments. There's some assignments you might go into the field to do some research and stuff like that. So all those things now, you have to pay for them. You wouldn't do the research from your house, as much as the classes from your house. So finance is like a major issue. And then outside finance, secondly, the technological, yeah, they have brought a platform. Yes, they have given you an opportunity to do all these things online, but sometimes there are lapses when it comes to the technology being used. Sometimes you might want to log into a class and network is at zero. You can't even hear what the lecturer is saying, but you're in class, but you're not hearing anything. You go off, you go on again. Sometimes you might want to be in class and your laptop is not charged or your phone is off because there's no lights, 3 days, 4 days, no lights. So all those inconveniences can just kind of like frustrate you, because in your mind you'll be like, why didn't I just go for the physical one? But the physical one, you know how stressful that one is also going to be. So yeah, those are like the major challenges I have studying this program. Then what I enjoy most, I think is the course I enjoy most because everything about it is more like history, new developments, just different things happening across the world, gives you understanding, like vast knowledge about things that normally you would have seen it in the surface. Just like, for example, when they're talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis, you watch news, fine, okay, no problem. You see what they are saying on news. But then when you attend some of these programs, they give you the history of why this thing is actually happening before it got to the news, how it all started, and where it might lead to or what it might lead to in the next few years. Because all these things determine foreign policy. So yeah, the interesting thing about it is just the whole idea of the course itself. And then, like you said, the kind of people, the multicultural, persons that are all in the platform, because we might be talking about something affecting us in Nigeria, and the person in Kenya will just be like, no, it doesn't happen like that in Kenya. It's different. You know, person from Belarus will just tell you, yeah, in Belarus, this is how it is, this is how it's done, and these are the challenges, these are the advantages, and all that. So you get, vast knowledge about these things happening from different parts of the world. And then sometimes you also like thank God you're in Nigeria, because sometimes you hear the stories of different other countries,
Yeah.
that developed countries and all, you'll be like, see Nigeria that were shouting. Oh, well, people are having it tougher over there.
Yeah.
You get, but it's just that I think why we complain a lot here in Nigeria is because our level of knowledge is quite high. We know what is best for every nation state. So when we see things going below what's normal, we start complaining. But for some people, what we are suffering is like normal day life to them. Like that is just how they live and they just manage it. So yeah, I really enjoy everything about the course. That's more important to me.
I love that you enjoy your course. I tell people, I think a lot of times when people ask about, okay, like, what do you think about your program? One thing they forget to ask is, are you happy? And I think it's very important to be happy or be happy about the things that we do, especially grad school, because like you have said, it is very tasking. I'm not
Mm.
sure words can explain how tasking it is to go through the process. Okay, Chinez, I want to shift gears. So one other thing I noticed is that, you talked about firm discussions and assignments. You also talked about working full time, and you talked about Pop Culture Africa Awards, which we'll be talking about soon because I want you to give us the entire scoop.
Okay.
And one thing I kept thinking in my mind is, how do you balance it all? So first of all, do you mind sharing with us like what your 9 to 5 is and how you've been able to kind of rope every other thing that you do around that?
Okay. So yeah, first of all, my 9 to 5 job. I'm a sales executive for a company here in Abuja. Yeah, so we deal in distribution, sales, and logistics for electronic products, Samsung electronic products especially. And it's a 9 to 5 job, actually 9 to 6 job, because it's an hour later than the normal 9 to 5, so 9 to 6 p.m. Then, well, one thing I actually do, because I think I'm already used to the fact that I multitask a lot. So one thing I did that really helps me to date is that I try to segment my time for everything. You get, I try to segment my time. Now, first of all, the course I chose before I even decided to apply and all that, like I said, initially I called a phone number on the website that gave me all the details I needed. And I asked a lot of questions. So it's very important. If you're going into some of these programs, you have to ask as much questions as possible. And then you take your time to ask. So I made inquiries and I asked them, okay, fine, if I do this, if I start this program, at what times will I be having my classes? So they said mostly evening and night times. So like, okay, so is there any reason why, or is just how the thing is? So they gave me reasons of, okay, we have other international students as well as lecturers too from other countries. So the time disparity and all that. And then because of we're working, they understand that we can be working and doing this together. So they try to do everything at night so that when we're back from work, we can rest a little and then go for classes. And then I said, okay, fine. That's perfect for me. So while I do my 9 to 5, 9 to 6 job, I segment my time. I say, okay, fine. From so and so time to this time, I do this. If I have assignments which I have to do during the day, then I say, okay, fine. I do some reports in the office, do my follow-up and whatever I need to do in the office from 9 to like 1 p.m. Then I do the assignments from like 1 p.m. to like 3 p.m. And then I do the other part of the 9 to 5 job from 3 to 6 when I'm closed. Then when I get home, I rest for a while and then attend my classes. So I try to segment my time for everything. If there are any assignments, which there is always an assignment every single day, there's always an assignment. So I just, okay, this is what I do during the day, and then I have to keep out like 1 hour or 2 hours, depending on the kind of assignments, because there are some assignments where they will tell you the minimum is 7 pages, and you have to explain, do introduction, conclusion, body of work, and all those things. So depending on the kind of assignments, I segment time for it and then I do it. Yes, it's actually very stressful because 24 hours of the time you basically have like say 5 or 6 hours to rest. That's it, because you have to wake up very early in the morning, go to work, do everything, do the assignments and whatever you need to do, focus on your work again, come back home. You now have classes, and now some of those classes extend to 10 p.m., some to 11, depending on the time. Some are 8 to 11, some are 7 to 9, some are 10 to, so it just depends. But maximum, you should be done, say 11:30, 12. You should be done with anything regarding classes, and then you focus on other things, which is sleep. So yeah, but one thing is that you need to take your sleep very important, because that's like the only time you need to sleep. So once you have any opportunity to sleep or rest, please just sleep, because now who they are alive now they go school and now they work. So basically that's it. That's how I try to manage all these things.
So thank you so much for sharing with us, Chinez. To summarize, some things or some of the approaches that Chinez said have helped him in this journey. He said he segments his time. He asked a lot of questions. I believe in asking questions too. And I ask a lot of questions, as you must know by now. And something else you said that I really, really agree with is that sleep is important. I didn't really used to be, first of all, I have an internal alarm that wakes me at 5 a.m. And so I don't play with my night sleep. By like 8 p.m., I'm done for the day till tomorrow. So definitely, please don't forget to catch up on your sleep. Okay, so now something I want to ask you about is about the Pop Culture Africa Awards. Do you mind telling us about its history? Because I know we've talked a whole lot about school and about how you decided to come to school. But I know that this award show is something that's very, very dear to your heart. And I wondered if you mind sharing its history with us, and if there has been some sort of connection to what you do in school and kind of the person you bring to award shows like this.
Okay. So back then in school, from my first year, I've always been organizing, small events. Let me not even call it events, hangouts, gatherings, all that stuff. I organized for my friends, I organized for departments. I've always wanted to be this whole director of social kind of person again, which I eventually didn't become, because I was never director of socials or anything, but I eventually became president of my department,
I was going to
So,
say
but
what happened, but don't worry. Continue.
I actually didn't contest actually for it. The first time I delved into politics was when I contested for president, and then I won it. So if I had contested for DOS and all those things back then, probably I would have won. I don't know, but that's how
I'll
life
ask
is.
you about the presidency as well.
So yeah. So I've always been an event person. I always love attending events. Like back then, I attended Fino Fest in Enugu. I would leave Usuka. I would travel to Enugu, attend Fino Fest, come back the next morning and attend classes. Like I was that passionate about events. So at some point, I thought about it. I was like, all these people that are always doing all these event things. I know there's an award for music, artists. There's an award for movie, actors and actresses. But there's actually nothing for event planners, event hosts, and people that are into the event industry. So I just thought about it. First of all, it all started as a blog. The whole pop culture Africa thingy all started as a blog. So back then I started a blog and I named it Pop TV Official. So the idea was that any event happening in school, my Instagram blog was like the one-stop shop for any event happening in school. If you want
Yeah.
to know what's happening in school at a certain period in time, just go to my page. You see posters and all the information you need. And we're also giving out free tickets and all those things. So yeah, so that was how it all started. And then from there, I started my media stuff, videography and then photography. I started with videography actually. So photography was something I started doing later on the side. So yeah, I started doing my media stuff and that gave me more entrance to more events. So from attending Fino Fest in Enugu as a guest, I started attending as a media partner. So I did Fino Fest 2016 and 2017 as official media partners. I did it with Hip TV back then. And that time, it's not like we had like serious guests, cameras, and all that. We were one very small camera, and we are just doing it. So because I was so, I delved into the whole events industry so deeply. So I needed to do something else. I was like, no, we need to appreciate these guys that do this thing. It's not easy to plan an event. So I just sat down with my roommates back then and then we talked about it. So I said, okay, let me start something. Let me start appreciating people that do events in school, so that they'll know that their work is not, for waste and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just start something. Then I discussed with some of my friends. That time I was in a theater group, Federation Theater. So I discussed with, so I just said, people should come and support me. I'm going to be awarding events. And back then, Federation Theatre usually does this event. They did this event, or they still do it till now, safe. Even after we're gone, they
Is
still
it
do it.
bad?
No, bad is for our branch in UNEC.
Oh,
This one is called TMT.
okay.
Yes, TMT. So they usually we do it every single year. So the plan was that if they do that TMT, I will recognize those that put in the effort into that TMT event. But when I started the publicity for the awards as at that time, the whole school felt it was something of the whole school. You understand? Because there's a way I do my things. In as much as I want to start small, I like to package it big. You get? So
Yeah.
the idea of pop culture, Africa, like that Africa there, they just felt this thing is not a TMT related thing again, and this might not even be a UNN thing again. And me, when I added the word Africa, I was looking at the future, like, okay, subsequently we'll start progressing to other events in school and all that. But I didn't know that people have already progressed before my mindset and all. So when I put up the nominations and all, I saw different nominations from different schools. I even saw people nominating Fino Fest, Urban Rave that time that was raining in Enugu and a lot of things. So I was like, wow, so this is something that people want to even be a part of. Event planners were now, they started, how far? How will I be a part of this thing? How will I get nominated? How can I win? So that was how we progressed and progressed from a blog. Then we now started the awards proper. We did the first one in University of Nigeria in one small hall, Nicole's place in UNN. So we did it there. Yeah, people attended. And like I told you, I like planning big. I actually gave out awards that were customized Pop TV official. Like they were custom made Pop TV official awards.
Mhm.
I don't want to go into details on how I did that stuff, but it was a creative process because I didn't, it's not like I had so much money that time. So, but I met somebody that was good in carving wood and stuff. So he did it, and there was a lot of painting and processing and all that. But that's for that one shot. So that was how we progressed. And then after I left school, I wanted to do something outside school, but finances held me back. I could not do it. So I now started the idea of virtual. So the first virtual I did was in 2019, virtual events. I did that one, and it received some feedback, like positive feedback, like, oh, this is nice. How did you do this whole live events, breaking transmission and all those things? I really felt good. And then COVID-19 came. And it was like as if I've already predicted that, okay, I would have to go to virtual because I did it a year before COVID-19, So when COVID-19 came in 2020, I did the second virtual event, and it was also a success too. And I received a lot of feedback. That time I progressed from just the whole school events, Enugu events, and I progressed to, Nigeria. I got nominations from Lagos, Abuja, different places. And then I got in touch with my first celebrity awardee as at that time, DJ Copy. So I got in touch with her because the idea was that, okay, aside from the fact that we're recognizing events, we also needed to recognize people that have, probably contributed somehow to the events industry. Now, for DJ Copy, it was more like entertainment, while for Aisha Yusufu, it was more like a social event. That's NSAS. Because we also gave an award for social events of the year. That's impact event, something that happened that shakes the whole country or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was how the idea of Aisha Yusufu came into being. And so that was 2020. We did that one. Very nice. People enjoyed it. Fine. And then 2021, we did the other virtual. That was last year. We did the virtual one again. This time we involved Burna Boy, Tauma, and then we got nominations from all across Africa this time. It was no longer Lagos and Abuja again. So it's now Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana.
Yeah.
And then we got all those nominations and all that stuff. So yeah, we keep on progressing every year. This year, we're going physical. We're heading to Lagos. And there's a whole lot of things going on. Like it's the preparations are still in top gear. So, but some of the awardees were given this year for honorary awards. Trevor Noah, that's the famous comedian and host from South Africa. And then we have CK, very popular musician. Then we have Stephanie Busari, that's the chief editor of CNN in Africa. And then we have Don Jazzy. So these are different categories, and then we've already met, like kept in touch with them, finalized everything with them. So we're expecting them during the live show in Lagos, and it's meant to hold on the 1st of October. So yeah, I'm doing my masters, I'm working my 9 to 5, and I'm planning this very huge event. So it's a whole lot, man. It's a whole lot.
I
But
can imagine. I can imagine. And I know, like, from even when you talked about the events that you planned in Osaka till when you talked about events that you're currently working on now, one thing that you kept mentioning or that I kept catching a glimpse of was the underlying financial implications of actually going through this entire process. And so, like, do you have any words of advice for someone like you, or, if younger Chinez had met somebody who has been in this game for over like 5, 6 years, what would you tell the person, especially about raising funds or meeting people to kind of contribute to events like this?
Okay, the first thing and the most important thing that you need to do is make sure whatever you want to do, you have the passion for it. That's the first thing, because if you don't have the passion there, the kind of way and ways that challenges will hit you, I swear you will not believe yourself. Like you will be so like, why did I ever start this in the first place? But when you have that drive, that passion, when those challenges come, it feels like these are just stepping stones towards the greater success. Sometimes when you're taking the staircase, you might slip, you might fall, but the staircase always leads to the top. Always, no matter whether you slip and fall, whether anything you do on the staircase, it always leads to the top. Be passionate about it, whatever it is you want to do, especially in this, the event industry is a very chaotic space, let me put it that way, because a lot of things are done on probability. That you organize an event doesn't guarantee that guests will come. That you organize an event and guests will come doesn't guarantee that sponsors will come. That you organize an event, guests will come, sponsors are there, doesn't still guarantee that you get your money back in terms of turnover, in terms of profits and all that. So it's a whole lot. If you don't have a very strong mind, that's why passion comes first. Trust me, I don't know how you're going to survive this whole chaos. Then secondly, in terms of finances and all, please, if you're starting, do what you can. Don't look at the fact that, Mr. A, he did it like this. See the kind of money he spent, see the kind of hall he used. It doesn't benefit you if you use a very massive hall, very expensive hall, and then the value of what you're doing doesn't correspond. You're using a very large hall and then you're not giving out enough value that people don't really appreciate what you're doing. You get, it's just like you're throwing money into, like, you're just throwing into a bottomless pit. It's filling up the pit though, but it doesn't seem like it's ever going to fill up the pit. You get, so, but then you have to be like, just manage what you can. When I started in a small place. I didn't say, okay, let me wait till when I make millions, then I'll find a big hall. Neither did I say, let me collect a loan to do an event. No, I started with what I could raise. A small place, and that small place, not like I even paid for it that time. It was more like discussion. That takes me to the third point. Relationship with people is very important, because one thing that really, drives that whole idea of, okay, just keep doing this thing, is because of the kind of people I have around me. You get, I might not, it's not the type that maybe if I wake up and say I need 20 million, they'll bring that 20 million. No. But when you keep that relationship with people, there are some places you might just, bros, how far? That your house, I go like use that your balcony. You understand? And before you know, okay, come and use it. And then you use it and do whatever you want to do, and you're gone. Now you've gotten a space for free. You get, sometimes you might have a friend that sells drinks and you'll be like, bro, how far? I'm doing something. No, I know say money no day, but how far? If you give me like a crate of these drinks, and he might just give you based on, now my friend, now my guy. You get, so you have to maintain relationships with people, because those are the ones that will push you and push you and push you. Even when you feel like, I'm tired, like I'm so tired of this thing. Because I know many times that I've said, why am I even doing this thing? Why am I even spending money? Maybe I would have just carried this money and just buy something, enjoy my life, travel to somewhere, flex and relax. Those thoughts come in. So don't think I'm a superhuman or a robot. It doesn't happen like that. So when those things come, when those challenges come, is this your network now, your friends that will always be like, don't worry, they'll just do them. Okay, no worry, make I find you 5K add. You get those little 5K, 2K, 1K that all these people bring. Those things add value to whatever you're doing. And then you have to appreciate them for doing those things. So like I said, passion, the first one. Then the second one, you just be content with what you have. Like, make use of what you have. Make use of all the resources you have. You get, don't say, because I've not made it big, so I should not bother. Make use of every resource you have. And then the third one is maintaining your relationship with people, your network. I think the most expensive investments and also the most valuable investments is the investment you make in people. It's very expensive to keep trust with somebody, very expensive to maintain a relationship with somebody. But once you can pay that price, trust me, that investment is very, very valuable. Very, very valuable. So these are like 3 key things you need to know when you're, trying to be like this.
Okay, that was that was from your heart. The first thing you talked about was passion. I agree with you that sometimes if you're not passionate about something, it's easy to give up. The second thing you talked about was the need to act within your means. I'm such a
Yeah.
huge fan of starting small, including with this podcast. Like, if you know the things that go on behind the scene, you would laugh. So start small and keep growing from where you are. And the third thing you said that's very important is really the relationship with people, because you never know where or when or how the relationship you have fostered with somebody can come in handy. But thank
Yes.
you for sharing with us. Normally, my my next question to guests will always be that they should give people random advice, but you have already given us more than enough advice. Except you want me to put you on the spot and ask you again, like it could be about anything from religion to love to tech to never buy ice cream from number 17 XYZ Street.
Okay, you want me to say that right now?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I think I'll drop two things. First things first, don't get bothered too easily. Like, don't stress over things. When they say what is yours, what is not yours is not yours, it's actually true. Don't stress over anything at all, because a stressful mindset or a tired mindset would not give you that space to think further, because you'll be dwelling on whatever your issues are. Okay, how this one happened, you could not, you could not be in charge, or you could not place yourself around it, or how that one happened and it embarrassed you, or how this one happened and you didn't benefit. Just don't stress yourself about anything. When something happens, just okay, fine, no problem. I've heard. Relax, and then aim further, think further. Then, as part of this one, also, as you're thinking further, keep making sure that whatever you're doing is like the best of you. Don't settle for less. Do the best that you can do. If you can get to 100,000 naira, I'm just giving an example. If you can get to 100,000 naira, please get to it. Don't say, okay, let me just do it at 50. We don't even know if I do. That your 100,000 naira you get to will grab other people's attention, and they'll be like, how is this guy getting up to that 100,000 naira? How is he doing it? And they will always want to interact and interface with people like that. So when you now need sponsors, or when you need whatever, eventually it's going to be easy for you to get, because they want to share in that story of how this small guy is getting to this level. You get. Then the second thing, aside being serious and all that, I beg, Zukwani Ike, sleep, rest. Rest is very, very important. Rest. Like, anytime something's bothering you, like, just go and sleep. By the time you wake up, I swear your mind will be clear and you can think. Just rest. Anytime, any opportunity you have to sleep, just sleep. Just sleep. I beg. It's very important. I think something else I will need to add, though, if you're the religious kind of person,
Yeah.
because some people might say they are not religious, I don't know. But for someone like me, I'm very religious. So if you're the religious kind of person, just believe in the God you serve. Whatever it is you serve, I don't know, but believe in the God you serve. You get. Because there's one thing about hope. Hope is like hope is like a medicine. When you hope on something, it's like you're treating yourself from all illnesses, all challenges, and all that. You're constantly treating yourself till you get better. And then when you keep hoping, you get better, you get better, you get better till you get to that point where you feel like, okay, yes, I've arrived. So believe in that God you serve, because trust me, I don't know about others, but as Christians, if you worship God, there's a lot of things that happen by miracle. A lot of things. Some things you cannot actually explain how they happened, but they just happened. The fact that we were so poor when I was in undergrad school, and then the next month I got a scholarship with Total NMPC, is crazy, because I was not the best per se. I cannot say I was the best, because I had mathematicians around me. My number, my registration number during that scholarship was 7,400 and something. So you can imagine, I was in Enugu that time, and I was 7,000. So imagine how many we were, but I got the scholarship. That's like God working, because he knew my dad was so broke. Even my dad was telling me I should consider coming back home, because he doesn't know whether he can pay for my fees. You understand? So it was like, maybe I should write jam again next year. So maybe by then he would have gathered some money. But in the process of considering, should I go back to Lagos, should I not? That was when the scholarship came and I got it. And that was what led me throughout school. I was on scholarship throughout my undergrad school days. So some things happen that you can't explain. It's all good. Focus.
Okay, so as always, sharing really helpful tips with us. Really helpful and very practical. The first, don't let things bother you, relax. I agree, especially embarrassing things, because the more you think about it, the more you feel bad, and there's nothing you're using that feeling for.
Yeah.
Second thing, don't settle for less, always do your best. Chinez, have you been reading my journal? Because I always believe that, like even if things don't work and I'm sad that they don't work, I always find solace in the fact that I tried my best. And I don't know, this might be something that's helpful to you too. Number
It's
three,
very helpful.
Zukwanike. I'm a huge fan of Zukwanike, of FC Zukwanike, and then believe in whatever God you serve and hold on to hope. I think one thing that's really, really striking about you, Chinez, is that you have what Nigerians call a humble beginning. Because when Nigerians are like, hey, this person has a humble beginning. But then, like, hearing about, for instance, the PCAA award that you're planning for October 1st, and hearing about the people that you plan to invite and the people that you plan to give these awards to. These are people that a lot of average Nigerians do not even know how to go about contacting. I think that really shows that, when you talked about the need to hope for something, like what would you say has been your consistent drive? And when you woke up in the morning and decided, hey, I want to find somebody that knows Don Jazzy,
Hmm.
what's your thinking process like when you get crazy ideas like that?
I think the first thing that happens is that crazy idea actually comes to mind. Like, okay, this time, this award, I want Trevor Noah. I remember when I told my team that I wanted Trevor Noah on this year's own, and they were like, how are we going to reach him? Where we go start from now? Okay, no problem. Let us just put him on the side, and that was what they said. But me, I feel like you said, I find consolation in the fact that I tried. So when I tried to contact Trevor Noah, first of all, I did a lot of research because I know these people are not people that you just see easily. You don't see their contacts and emails and all that. So I did a lot of research on how I could find and locate them. So I did the research. Then I found out, okay, this is how I can get to Trevor Noah through one guy in South Africa, a PR guy. He handles his PR and all that. So yeah, I did my research and I said, okay, fine, let me just try. I'll send an email. If they respond, fine. If they don't respond, no problem. I did my best. So I sent an email. 1 week, no response. 2 weeks, no response. The third week, I got an email back. Hello, hi, really appreciate your feed. I'm like, me? Is it me? I said, okay, let me respond back. And then I responded. And then that's how we kept on communicating. And then we are here now. It's now official. The same thing that happened with the chief editor of CNN in Africa. That's Stephanie Busai. She's our African Woman of the Year. So that was how I contacted, her. Just sent an email. From there, they're like, okay, no, email is not appropriate. Let's talk on this thing, Google Meet. A lot of interactions and all, but I just kept on. Let me just keep trying my best. Sometimes you might send them an email even after they responded the first time, and then they will not respond the second one. So you have to keep on pushing and pushing and reminders, sending out reminders, making some phone calls, sending text messages. Sometimes text message might just be, "Hi, how was your day? How was your evening? How was your weekend?" You will not go straight to the point that this is what you want you know so there are just different ways how to just maintain that relationship, and then you now pop out that question. So I actually want you to be at my award and all that. They're like, oh, okay, so no wonder you know and that's just it. I think the drive there, like I said, is the passion. I've always wanted to do all this. I grabbed a lot of inspiration from the Headies Awards. I really love what they are doing, so I always want to be at that level where, I gather people together, reward them for what they do best. Nobody rewards me for what I do. So I like to reward others for what they do. And sometimes you get rewards here and there, nominations here and there, awards here and there. Yeah, at least I think I have a cupboard full of awards right now. Okay, a cupboard and a half. Yeah, exactly. If I'm staring at it now. So yeah, thank God for that.
That's really cool. And I can imagine that your shelf of awards will keep growing because you're a pusher. So I'm not in any doubt. Okay. And so for Chinez, for people who have really enjoyed this conversation that you've had with us, and for people who are looking to collaborate with you, where can they find you?
Okay. We have pages on Instagram. We have the at Pop TV Events Africa on Instagram. That's for the general Pop TV page. Then the subsidiary, which is the Pop Culture Africa Awards on Instagram, we have that also. Then via email, info at poptvofficial@gmail.com. You can contact us through our hotline. That's for WhatsApp, the general WhatsApp, because I have personal number and then we have the business number also. So you can connect with me personally with my phone number. So yeah, my phone number is 0813. If you're outside Nigeria, +234, then 0813-96-288-33. That's the phone number you can reach me on. WhatsApp or phone call or text messages. So you can connect through those means. Instagram page, like I said, at Pop TV Events Africa. And then the email address, info at poptvofficial@gmail.com. So that's that.
Okay, so email address info at poptvofficial@gmail.com. Instagram, Pop TV Events Africa.
Yeah.
You can text or WhatsApp him at +234 813 962 8833. Thank you so much, Chinez. You have been such an amazing. First of all, you gave us serious advice for school and serious advice for event planning. So if I come to do internship in your hands, listen. But thank you.
I would really like that because I know I'll learn a lot from you too.
Oshay, thank you. It was really, really, really great learning from you. I personally got to know about the program at ABU. I got to know about the multicultural experience that you currently have. And especially, I was really, really fascinated by the growth PCAA has had in this past few years. And I want to lend my voice to the other people that have told you to never stop. Like, I'm excited to see you on the 1st of October, and I hope to see you next year.
Exactly.
And as always, for the people who are listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to our podcast, listen to the newsletter. We try to provide this information in as many formats as possible to meet people where they are. See you